United's night. How they have thirsted for this. How long they have thirsted for this. And Old Trafford feels as Old Trafford should feel. The night it all changed. The night they came to life. Erik ten Hag has his teeth into the job. Manchester United have their teeth into the season.
Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? It's Tuesday the what? Tuesday the 6th of December. We've got another calendar Christmas giveaway. If we can hit 500 likes before the end of the stream, you know the drill by now. The Cantona box will be opened. But we're here to talk about, well, everything Manchester United. We'll speak about Casemiro. Another dominant performance from him yesterday. And I'll tell you what, Brazil, they're looking good. Whoever got Brazil in the sweepstake, they must be feeling pretty happy about what they watched yesterday against South Korea. We'll speak about that. We'll speak about Cody Gakpo and Jude Bellingham. You know full well that we had a stream yesterday. And I've definitely got caught up in the hype around Jude Bellingham, the wave, the momentum around Jude Bellingham. And I can take a little bit of a step back today and try and be a little bit more level-headed, because yesterday it was more emotional. It was more from the heart rather than from the head. But look, we'll speak about Cody Gakpo. We'll speak about Jude Bellingham, and the latest coming from Sky Germany, suggesting that Man United aren't even in the race for Bellingham at all. Then we're going to take a look ahead towards tomorrow, because Man United are in action. We're playing Cadiz tomorrow in a friendly. The team has flown out to Spain. I did my video yesterday on the youngsters that are out there and the conversations that the questions, I suppose, that we would like to be answered. And we can discuss all those live on stream together here. We'll speak about Axel Tuanzebe. He's returning from injury. Lots of questions, right? And lots of answers, hopefully, by the end of it. Let me just mute that, mate. Gungshi down there. Mate, good morning to you. I dropped in 5 gifted memberships because I'm feeling in a good mood today. Why not? And then Gungshi just came in here and made me look terrible. But look, as always, thank you very much, Gungshi. You are the legend of the channel. Probably the legend. The instigator. The OG. Andrew, Unicorn Forever. It's an interesting name. Ranjan. Oluwapelumi, I think so. Michael Carasino, James Boswell, Ethan, Jack Nobile, Muk Lenosh, Connor Maxwell. You are the lucky 10 indeed. But as I said, remember, let's try and hit 500 by the end of it, and we'll open that box. So far, what have we done? Let me have a look at what the giveaway calendar is. What have we done so far? We've done 3 of the Stan Chow prints. We've done one 99 Christmas sweater. Yesterday's one is going to be going on until Portugal are out of the World Cup. You can follow us on TikTok down there by entering. All you got to do is comment on a video on TikTok or on the YouTube Shorts. How many goals do you think Ronaldo is going to score at the World Cup? Over 500 of you have entered so far. So it's going to be a popular one. And it's an easy one, as I said. And look, one thing I want to say before I quickly say hello to everyone in the comments. I know that there's some people who really aren't happy, I suppose, that we're on TikTok. And trust me, I've stayed away from TikTok for a long, long time. But I appreciate that the younger audience, they consume their content differently to how maybe we would like to do it here on these live streams, on the more research videos. So this is just me trying to branch the channel out and see if we can reach a new audience. That's all it is. If you want to support it, you can support it. If you don't have to. Just enjoy the content how you want to enjoy the content. But who's down there in the comments? Daisy, I think you just said there that you've just been out of hospital. If that's the case, I hope you're well. Stephen Anderson, Alex, how you doing, Alex, man? Gungshi down there, Charlie Hughes, Josh, as always, my friend, how you doing? Alan, Stephen Reacts. We've got Neil Jackson, Michael Parsons, Ian Houghton. How you doing, everyone? Who's on Facebook? We've got Stan Darwin. We've got Momadou Toure. How you doing, mate? We've got world famous DJ Slow Mix. I like that. Well, you are world famous now. Good morning to everybody, one and all. I'm looking forward to seeing Man United in action tomorrow. There's a question there from Stephen saying, look, I hope that it won't at all. Anything that happens on TikTok or on YouTube Shorts is going to be completely and utterly separate to what I always do here. I'll always be here Monday to Friday with the live streams. I'll always have my afternoon videos out every single day. None of that's going to change. This is just supplementary. This is a different sort of content. Not everybody, as I said, can enjoy these longer live streams in the morning, or they don't have time to do the other ones and they want to have, the 30-second short videos. It's not my type of content either, but I'm trying to understand it, I suppose. Kind of sound like an old bloke there. Red J asking what the time the game tomorrow is. I believe it's 5 p.m. think it's 5 p.m. Nope, I lied. It's 7 p.m. The game against Betis on Saturday is 5 p.m. Got them the wrong way around. So we play Cadiz tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I'm going to have my predicted 11 video out. That's going to go out a little bit later today. And I tell you what, if I get 11 out of 11 on that bad boy, I'm incredible. I'm not going to get 11 out of 11 in that starting team tomorrow, but I'll try my best. But let's speak about the two main talking points this morning, and that's Cody Gakpo and that is Jude Bellingham. Of the two, I think we can all agree Gakpo feels more likely, right? That's what I think so anyway. We'll speak about Cody Gakpo first. Comments from him, comments from Van Dijk, comments from Malacia. I think on Janssen as well. Everyone's been talking about Cody Gakpo. And I suppose it kind of comes as no surprise, right? I've got my Three Little Birds merch hoodie on. By the way, because I'm so naff, I don't think I informed you that because of the postal strikes in the UK. I mean, you've seen that there's train strikes, there's postal strikes. It's really going to be affecting all the deliveries in and around the UK. So actually the deadline for Christmas deliveries, let me just confirm this here before actually. Right. So the UK deadline now is midnight tomorrow night. So if you are looking to get any merch before Christmas, make sure you order it before midnight tomorrow night if you're in the UK. If you're outside of the UK, you're in the rest of the world. That deadline's already passed, but it might arrive, it might not arrive. You just can't guarantee that it will arrive. That's what those deadlines are for. So I just wanted to let you know that. But look, let's talk about this and Cody Gakpo, because I'm looking forward to watching him in action on Friday. That's the game of the tournament so far for me. I'm sure it'll be for you as well. Netherlands against Argentina on Friday. And as much as I want Cody Gakpo to succeed and doing well, so sod that. I want Argentina to beat the Netherlands and I want Brazil to beat Croatia, because I want to be watching Brazil against Argentina in the World Cup semi-final. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? I really want to see that. So no offense to the Netherlands or Croatia, but don't take that away from me. Friday night, I'm really looking forward to it. Cody Gakpo, it's obviously the biggest game. It's obviously the biggest task. And arguably, the game the next day is even bigger. England against France. Probably the two probably the two best performing teams so far at the World Cup, I would say anyway. You might disagree with that, but I think so. And this is what Cody Gakpo has been saying on his future. And what all of his... one sec there. We're having trouble streaming on Facebook. I'm not sure what that is there. I apologize anybody on Facebook who's getting some sort of errors. This is now coming up. I don't know. I've no idea. It looks like there might be some problems streaming on Facebook here. I apologize about that. Casemiro versus the Butcher. Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Malps, you're going to say Brazil winning this World Cup easy? I hope so. I get my sweet sweepstake win. But I don't actually get the sweepstake win. I've told you that already. Everybody thought that it was me fixing. I swear I didn't fix it. If Brazil win the World Cup and I win the sweepstake, that's going to go in as a Christmas calendar giveaway. So there's going to be an extra like £200-ish giveaway. I promise that will happen. Why is that not working on Facebook? That's really annoying. Let me see if I can quickly fix this. 1 sec there. This is what happens when it goes live and direct. I think it's just stopped on Facebook. Yeah. Facebook's just killed the stream. I apologize anybody who's watching on Facebook. It might be working. It might not be working. But I think it's just kicked you off. Absolutely nothing I've done on my end. My internet's working completely fine. This is just some sort of technical error that they've done there. I apologize about that. And there's nothing I can do because I can't do it whilst... There might be other people that have individuals helping them. I do all of this myself whilst I'm live. So if anything goes wrong, I've got to try and figure it out whilst I'm live as well. And I can't do that. So I apologize about that. You're just going to have to deal with it today. But this is what Cody Gakpo has had to say about the tournament. He said this in terms of his future. He goes, I have to be honest, I'm not thinking about that now, his future. He goes, I'm focused on the tournament and want to keep performing well, to keep helping the team. Hopefully when we become world champions, we can think about other things. I try to keep focused and the other players don't really speak about that kind of thing. And this is, what do you think about these comments from Van Dijk? They could be considered, well, inflammatory. You know what he knows what he's doing, but I don't think he's particularly wrong. And I'm not going to really disagree with him. He said, "Are Manchester United and Real Madrid at the same level at this moment?" I said, "No disrespect, but not at all. I think he definitely has a next step in him, and I definitely feel like it could happen. Whether it happens in the winter or next year, time will tell, but he's a great boy. He works hard, is talented, and there's definitely more in him." And I've already done a video on Cody. After I did my first video on Cody Gakpo, after the first 3 games of the group stage. I could have done it after the first game. I could have done it after the second game. I waited until the 3rd game. I felt like that was the right time to do it. And there's no doubt that he is really, really impressed. Ian, you're right down there. I apologize to anybody on Facebook. There's no point putting it in the comments, peeps. I know there's a problem. I know there is. There's nothing I can do about it. If you'd like to join in, make sure you come over onto YouTube because it's still working on YouTube. There's nothing wrong with my stream. It's just Facebook's fault. So don't ever go at me. But Cody Gakpo, yeah. I've seen personally, I've seen enough at the World Cup. I've seen different facets of his game, and I explained that in my video. So I don't really need to explain it again today to you here. But so much is said about, oh, he's not a goal scorer, oh, he's not a striker. And all I've seen at the World Cup is him playing really, really well through the middle. Really, really well as a goal scorer. Left foot, right foot, headers. It's been impressive. And I'll be honest, I kind of be surprised if United didn't go after him. The only reason we wouldn't go after him is a financial perspective. And that's why I need to have my conversation with Kieran Maguire from Price of Football, financial expert. I'm going to be speaking to him on Thursday to try and find out a little bit more information on the financial situation around United, because we've got new owners coming in, right? Why would United spend money? I need to try and get a logical step at all of that. Freddie, you're saying, look, I told you guys, there's nothing I've done or doing. There's nothing I've done differently. Everything's connected. Everything's on. Ethernet's in. Internet's fine. This is Facebook's side. So therefore, I have absolutely no idea what the issue is. I apologize to anyone on Facebook. There is nothing I can do. All right. Mahassan, you're saying he would be a good signing, but we need a top striker in the summer. I don't particularly think that signing Gakpo would or should stop us going after a striker in the summer. And that's a personal opinion. But, you know, might be right, might be wrong. How many likes are we on so far? We're on 176 so far. It's been a good start to the stream. Remember, we need to get to 500 and we'll open that. I've got a new light in here, by the way. Look at that. Oh. Ah. Oh. Look at that. Even better. Improving it. Eggnog, hot or cold? I don't really like eggnog. Nah. Eggnog's not for me. Sorry, ladies and gents. Hate to be a Grinch. Just it's a bit of a weird drink. I don't really know where that came from. But moving on from Cody Gakpo to the conversation we had yesterday, right? About this lad. Because I'll be honest, I got fully on board the hype train. Yesterday was when we had a conversation about Bellingham, and I'm like, look, we need to go after him. We've got to go after him. How can United sit there and just watch Jude Bellingham just go somewhere else? And it was an emotional response to, well, just what he's been doing at this World Cup. It really does feel like Rooney 2004. They're just the levels of performances, wow, and the team he's got around him as well. It's incredible. Now that I can take a step back, we can have a conversation that maybe is a little bit more from the head and not from the heart. We can talk about Bellingham again. Now, we've got reports coming out from Sky Germany that Manchester United are simply put not in the race to sign Jude Bellingham. And that is, you know, sometimes they hype up a transfer. Oh, the race to sign him. It will be a race to sign Bellingham. It will be an absolute bidding war to sign Bellingham. And the reality is that we spoke about it yesterday in the stream. You're probably looking at 150 million. Thereabouts. It's going to be in and around that figure. Remember that Dortmund tried to charge us 120 million for Sancho in a year that they didn't want to sell him. Let alone how much he's going to be now. I mean, in terms of Bellingham, I can't put a finger on it. I really can't, because it does depend who's in for him. If Real Madrid come sniffing, it increases even more. Liverpool no doubt will want him, and Liverpool no doubt need him. And that's what I mean when I say like the heart from the head. Because look, if I rewind to this video I did 3 weeks ago, I said, look, this is my own personal problem with Man United trying to sign Jude Bellingham this summer. And I absolutely stand by everything I said in that video. Now that I can sort of step back a little bit and say, right, okay, let's try and speak with the head rather than the heart. Because that was me speaking from a purely practical perspective in that video. I was saying, look, if Jude Bellingham is going to be sold in the summer, which he is, and he's going to be one of the biggest transfers of the summer, which he is, and he's going to cost in excess easily of 100 million, which he is, then I would rather Manchester United looked elsewhere and spent their money in a smarter and more collective way. Now, bear in mind, I did do this video before the Glazers announced that they were going to sell the club. So that does change it a little bit in terms of how much money we're going to have to spend in the summer. But at the same time, if we're looking at Jude Bellingham, we're looking at this Manchester United squad. There's no doubt that he can play in that position. That position, that De Jong position. There's no doubt he'd just be an incredible player everywhere. But realistically, I think we can all agree that spending 150 million on Jude Bellingham at this moment in time with our current squad might not be the best overall investment for how we need to improve and where we need to improve. The thing that's sort of the caveat to that conversation is the fact that, well, I mean, look at Miss Jude Bellingham. Can you afford to miss out on a player like him? That's going to be the overarching question that still gets asked, even if you just apply a bit of logic to it, kind of like I've done there. Let me see what you're saying in the comments. Rice doesn't make sense. No, Declan Rice isn't going to happen. I told you West Ham priced him out of the move last year. There's no doubt that his price is stayed pretty level. I wouldn't say it's massively gone up because of the World Cup. I think Declan Rice's levels are there. But West Ham, it feels like, are just going to kind of keep him at the club and drive him until that contract. They're going to. I don't know when his contract expires, but it's don't know. It's a risky move. It's a risky game they're playing. I think that at some point, I think somebody mentioned it in the comments before, Declan Rice to Newcastle kind of sounds like the sort of transfer you go, you know what? I could understand that, because I think Newcastle would probably pay a little bit more than most clubs would. I think that would I could see that happening. Or maybe Declan Rice to Spurs, or to Chelsea, probably to Chelsea. Linton, you're saying, look, Bellingham's going to one of 3 clubs. Liverpool, City or Madrid. Sadly, we're not in the league of those 3 clubs at the moment. Well, I wouldn't, personally, in my opinion, I wouldn't put Liverpool in that category. Like, I wouldn't. Liverpool are now at the point of a rebuild. Liverpool's squad is aging. Liverpool have lost their mojo. Liverpool are nowhere near the level of City and nowhere near the level of Madrid anymore. They've gone back into the pack, and that's through their own undoing because they haven't invested properly. But City and Madrid, I can't disagree with that whatsoever. And it's unfair, man. Imagine City, no, sorry, not City, Madrid. They've just got Tchouaméni. They've got Camavinga. Yeah, go on then. Add Bellingham on top of that. That's your midfield for like 5-10 years. That is ridiculous. Josh, yeah, I'm looking forward to having that conversation as well. I need to get some insight into it. I'm going to be doing some research today. If anybody's got any suggestions, my DMs are always open on Twitter and Instagram. I want to find some journalists to speak to about Dubai and about US investment. I want to speak about it from every angle. I spoke to Nicholas about Dubai, but that was from one side of the coin. I want to try and give us fair and a balanced set of interviews on potential new owners. And there's a lot more content to come here on United People's TV in terms of new owners. Image timing, if new owners get in place, that is a thing, man. Tyler, you're down there saying, look, if we get Dubai or Saudi, I think they will go all out for him. I wouldn't put that past United. And that's what I'm coming from this video and the logical perspective. When I did that video, the Glazers were the owners of Manchester United. and I knew that we were going to have a finite amount of money to spend in the summer. I knew that we probably weren't going to be spending in the region of 200, 250 million again. Or if we were, it was going to be supplemented by sales. If new owners come in, that does change things, right? And that's the thing that we can't at this point predict. We can't say with absolute confidence that we will or we won't go in for Jude Bellingham, because I do agree with you. I think if we do get new owners in, especially if it's Dubai and they've got unlimited funds and they want to make a big statement, they're going to be looking towards the best players that played at the World Cup. And they're going to be looking towards the best English player who played at the World Cup. And you're going to be looking towards Jude Bellingham. That's just the truth, right? Because it's from a simple perspective, it wouldn't require any scouting. As the owners, it's their decision. They own the football club. So it very much depends on what happens there with the this investment. I've seen this as well. I honestly have no idea where this has come from, because it hasn't come from any sort of reputable journalist. The idea that Qatar Investment Fund has made a bid. They haven't made a bid, right? Certainly hasn't come out anywhere. It's not come anywhere near The Athletic or James Ducker or David Ornstein or Fabrizio Romano or any sort of journalist of worth, all right? So at this moment in time, let's just leave that to the side at the moment. And Qatar, who's mentioned Qatar anyway? Qatar's come out of nowhere. We've been talking about Dubai, and the other one we've been speaking about is, what is it? Saudi Arabian private investment, which I really don't want to happen. But yeah, let's find out. Numero Uno saying, unlimited fund, the club needs a rebuild from top to bottom. Absolutely does. Do you think if we had the players who can score goals all across the pitch, we would need to get in a striker? I mean, you always want a focal point in your team. It's important for the shape of the build-up for you. All, and it's this isn't, kind of is Ronaldo a little bit. Ronaldo has had a habit of just dropping deep, just because he got no service. Because United weren't a team that dominated possession, he just got frustrated. He wanted to touch the ball. So he just dropped deep. And all of a sudden, when we then broke forward, we'd have no striker in the box. You'd be like, well, what's the point in having the ball on the wings in these crucial positions if there's no player in the box to get on the end of it? Ian, you're saying this, which I think is probably a fair comment. And I agree with that. But this is why it's important for me to have that conversation with Kieran Maguire, to try and get my head around the financials. I've spoken to you about this before. I'll mention it again now. I don't know if Manchester United can spend in January, because I don't know whether or not we've got enough of a credit facility for the Glazers to just slap a 60 million signing on, add it as a credit note, so that whoever comes in next is effectively paying for that signing and the Glazers aren't paying for it. If they can do that, they will do that, because it will inflate the price of Manchester United. So it will be a transfer window where they want to spend. But I need to understand and try and find out, is that the case? Because if that is the case, then I think that we can expect signings in January. But if it isn't the case, I don't know why the Glazers would spend a penny. That's why I think so anyway. Ibrahim, you absolute ledge. Down here, gifting 5 memberships. Who are the lucky 5 from Ibrahim? Cheers, dude. Matt Frost, you cheeky git. You got 1. Robert Johan, you got 1. Justin Warley, numero uno. I swear, yeah. I just read your comment and that was it. Derek Martin, you are the lucky 5. Ibrahim G, indeed. Proper G. I really, really apologize, by the way, for anyone on Facebook. That's really annoying me. I've got to figure out exactly what happened there and try and make sure that doesn't happen again. What's my next point then I want to speak about? Oh, yeah, we'll speak about that. But my heart is telling me that Bellingham might happen if we get new owners in. And kind of my head is as well, if I'm being completely honest. But it all does massively depend on who buys us and when they buy us. I don't think Jude Bellingham's going anywhere in January. You can let me know in the comments. You can type yes or no what you think about that. I don't personally think he's going anywhere in January. It just seems like it'll be a way too much of an investment for anybody. I don't know why Dortmund would sell when they know they've got a bidding war coming up. it just doesn't really strike me as a January type signing for anybody, whether that's City, whether that's Madrid, whether that's Liverpool or United. I don't think it will happen in January. I think it's more of a summer deal. But yeah, I don't particularly think that United will go in for him unless we've got new owners. And if we do get new owners, as I said, I think you're all right. I think if new owners come in, they're going to be looking at marquee. That's what they do. That's what Todd Boehly did at Chelsea. Maybe less so than what Newcastle did at what Saudi did at Newcastle, but they did spend. And look at them now. Bellingham is going to be one of the. Bellingham is the marquee signing next summer. He's the number one marquee signing for whoever gets him. Lots of you down here sort of agreeing with me that January doesn't really make sense. I don't personally think it will either. Vincent, I agree with you there. Dubai can't. No, of course they can't. I don't know who's being linked with. I actually haven't been looking at Liverpool. Don't you find it pretty weird? It went wild with news about new owners for Manchester United in the first week after the Glazers announced they were going to sell the club, and then it's all gone a bit quiet. I suppose it's because the World Cup's on, but yeah, the news is really muted. I expected it to really continue in intensity, and I suppose at some point it'll explode again. But yeah, there hasn't really been an update from anything to do with Dubai or anything to do with US consortiums like Harrison Blitzer or anything else. Otherwise, I would have brought it to you. It's all gone a little bit quiet. Martin with a super chat here. What are you saying, sir? Harry Kane's got 18 months left on his contract. His contract could be 300 to 350 a week. Would he sign another new deal at Spurs? I don't know. I've no idea. Again, if you're looking at marquee signings, you're looking at United needing a striker. You're looking at Harry Kane. The absolute no scouting required when it comes to the marquee signing as a striker. That would definitely be Harry Kane. But again, it depends on new owners, and it depends on who comes in. And I suppose just as importantly, when they come in. If it happens before the end of the season and we have new owners in time for summer, there is a real chance that United go absolutely mad in the transfer market. Really mad. And you're saying, I still think we have too much building to do to warrant spending so much on one player. I know that. And you're correct. But having new owners in changes everything. And it changes the... Ten Hag came in, right? Ten Hag came into the club and he had a plan. He goes, right, we need to sign these players first. We need that holding midfielder. We need that that left back. We need to get a flair player up front. We have nothing on the wings. That was stage one. Stage two is probably going to be if we had the Glazers in, right, and we had no conversation about the fact that we might have more money in the summer, then the summer was always going to be about a new striker. I would say another Christian Eriksen type player and another right back. They would be the three signings in sort of stage two of this rebuild. But if there's new owners in, it kind of changes everything. All those three still apply, but the scale of things can increase massively. And that's just something we can't put our finger on yet until we have more clarity over who is going to buy us. All saying he's injury prone. I mean, his glass ankles were, I wouldn't say it's an old problem, but Harry Kane back in the day he was injured 24/7. He seems to be far more resilient than he has been previously. And mate, Harry Kane's been probably the best striker in the Premier League over the last, 7 or 8 years? Tom, you're saying Kane's a bit too slow. And you're saying he's too slow for 10. Oh, Harry Kane, man. Harry Kane, I personally think Harry Kane does not get as much credit as he should. Man, the guy is a very, very, very good all-rounded footballer. Over the last 18 months, 2 years or so, when he's developed that playmaking part of his game, this man he's ridiculous. He really is a ridiculous player. After Friday, you'll want Memphis back. No, I don't think we'll want Memphis back. No, thank you very much. But look, speaking about the World Cup, let's go back to it. Let's speak about what happened yesterday, because that man there, mwah. God, he's good. He's so good. So happy that he's a United player. Really, really am. Casemiro dominating in midfield there for Brazil yesterday in their 4-1 win. Fred and Anthony were both unused substitutes, but all three of them, smiles on their faces. They're going through to the quarterfinals, and they're facing Croatia. And there's absolutely no doubt that Brazil are heavy favourites there to go through to the semi-final to face Argentina. And as I said, that's the game I've wanted before the World Cup started. That's the game I still want. Imagine that. Messi in the quarterfinal, Messi in the semi-final there against Casemiro. Casemiro against Martinez. Ooh. And Argentina fans are taking over the World Cup, by the way. Daniel, you're down there. You're absolutely buzzing. I'm not surprised you're buzzing, man. That was a cracking performance from Brazil. It was a proper Brazil performance yesterday, wasn't it? Absolutely blew South Korea away. 4-0 before halftime. Richarlison's goal, dirty. Like keeping up with his head like a seal. Little 1-2-3 passes, boom, straight through. Great goal. Richarlison for Brazil is a different level of player. Really, really is. Who's your favourite player at the World Cup so far? I really enjoyed watching Musiala for Germany. That's a player I was kind of surprised at. I knew he was good, and I watched him. I was like, well, okay, he's more than good. I've really enjoyed watching him. I really, really have enjoyed watching Casemiro. Like, he's just been so good. So good. Like the absolute cream of the crop he's been. Liam, let me know where you're watching from, buddy. I'll try and give you a shout out. Josh, with an absolutely horrendous dad joke. I'm going to put that in Or's category there. You think Argentina are going to lose on Friday? I do not think Argentina are going to lose on Friday. Let's find out. And I'm trying to get my head around this as well. Casemiro looks like absolute peak Casemiro. It's not as if he's like faded a little bit and he's nearly as good as he was before. He looks as good as ever. Casemiro looks absolutely on top of the world. He really, really does. And United are absolutely lucky to have him. And I can't wait to see what happens against Croatia. I'm backing Brazil to beat Croatia. You can let me know what you think there. These are Casemiro stats from that game yesterday. 86 touches, 85% passing accuracy, 84%. 6 ground duels won, 5 long balls complete. 5 long balls complete. Look at that. I don't know whether that means like over 10, 15. I don't know what the measure of a long pass is. 4 tackles, 1 an interception and a clearance. Yeah, Asan, that's a good call. Mohamed Kudus was very, very good. I did enjoy watching him as well. Matt, Casemiro just loves footy, doesn't he? He absolutely just loves footy. What's everyone's prediction for Brazil-Croatia in the comments? You type your scores down there. I'll try and read a few out. Martin, you're going for 4-2. Imagine that 4-2. That would be an absolute classic then. What are we on now? We're on 296 likes. We need 200 more likes and we can get the Christmas Cantona box opened. By the way, anybody who's won so far, we've got RD who won the 3 Stan Chow prints on Twitter. And we've got Miracle who won the 1999 Christmas sweater from YouTube. I've messaged both of you. Anybody who wins a giveaway prize, I'm going to reply to your comment, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on YouTube, but it's down to you to slide into my DMs. I can't chase everybody up more than once. All right. I'm going to chase you up once. And this is what's going to happen, right? If by the end of this, if by the Christmas Eve, there are prizes that haven't been claimed, I'm going to do one giveaway with all of those unclaimed prizes as one giveaway. Don't know how I'm going to do it yet. I haven't quite thought about that yet. But I don't have the time or the capacity to chase everybody up more than once. I apologize. But if you don't reply to that first comment and slide into my DMs, the prize won't be yours. Right, let's see what we're saying down here. Brazil 3-0, says Ben. 5-0. Matt, you're feeling a bit drunk this morning. Paul, you're going for a 4-3 Brazil. Or you're going for a 1-1 penalties, Brazil to win the pens. Croatia have won their last 3 penalty shootouts in a row. I wouldn't back that. And in the last 2, there's only 3 goalkeepers to have ever saved 3 or more 3 penalties in a World Cup game, and the last 2 are Croatian. So I would not back Croatia to lose on penalties. That's what I'd say. 3-1, 4-1. Lots of you backing Brazil to win, but another 1-1 draw there. Carl, you're saying Casemiro's on fire. The new challenge at United is that's what it feels like. It's a very good comment there from Carl. You know, so many people look at United and think, they're just going there for the payday, blah, blah, blah. it really looks like Casemiro genuinely has thought, you know what, I've won it all. I've got all the pots, I've got all the t-shirts, I've got all the hats from Real Madrid. I don't need to do it again here. Let's go for a challenge. And it feels like he's got that, and I think it's just it's a product of the environment. It's something I say quite a lot here on United People's TV, that yeah, all players are products of the environment they're in, and United is a far better environment now than we were 12 months ago. Geez, you remember what it was 12 months ago? Wasn't it just after Solskjaer? When did Solskjaer got? I think he got sacked around about November time. I think Solskjaer sacked by Man United. 22nd of November. There you go. 12 months ago. Gee, do we even have Rangnick in at this point? Rangnick appointed by Man United. It must have been around this time. 29th of November. And I think our game against Crystal Palace, which happened a few days later. Yeah. Geez. That's where we were 12 months ago as a football club. And look where we are now. That is progress. Sure, it's not progress to where we want to be, but it's a massively different environment. And players like Casemiro, they are responsible in helping that happen. Now, there's more football on today. There really is. I'll tell you what, let me read a couple more of your comments out about Casemiro, because I'll tell you what, we all love it. We all love him. Big Cass wanted to challenge. Robert's saying Ten Hag did that. I would say Ten Hag has been fundamental, absolutely fundamental in this changed environment that we are living in. There's all down there with the latest dad joke. Mate, Japan's penalties were absolutely woeful. Poor lads, poor lads. Deloach said something about a few months back about being in the squad Alex, is something that I've said so often. And it's, in my opinion, this is something that drove Erik Ten Hag to take the United job. Because he thought, you know what? I could be the manager that goes down in the history books as the manager who took United back to where they should be. And he took on the responsibility and the challenge of that. And he's thriving in it at the moment. And Deloach said it during the preseason. He goes, you know, and I've always thought that, like, imagine that as a driving force for a player. Imagine being one of those players who brought United back to the top. It's something that I don't know. It seems to be working. Let's move on to what's happening today, because there's more football today, and there's one man that we're all waiting to see in action. That's Bruno, who for me, like, if you watch I did my video on, I ranked my top 5 players so far at the World Cup. And I did Harry Maguire, then I did Lisandro Martinez, then I did Casemiro, then I did Marcus Rashford, and then for me, I think Bruno Fernandes has been the most influential and most impressive Manchester United player so far at the World Cup. 2 goals and 2 assists, I believe, in his first 3 games. And Portugal plays Switzerland this evening. I've no doubt that Bruno is going to play an absolutely central role in that. I've always stood by, not stood by, in fact, I've stood and just, I've been so bemused. I've been so bemused by the criticism aimed towards Bruno Fernandes. And we've spoken about it here, and it feels like a lot of us in the community here, we're on the same wavelength, but we're not representative of a complete and utter widespread feeling towards Bruno. He absolutely gets pelters from so many. I don't know whether it's because I think it's because of the expectation on him. We've spoken about that before. Because he was so good at the start, people expect that every week. And if you don't reach that level, you're shit. There's something wrong. And he gets criticized. But Bruno's been magnificent in this World Cup. He really, really has been. And I wish him all the best of luck. Switzerland won't be easy, man. Deloach, I don't know whether he's going to start. He started in the last game, didn't he? But I think it's because he was brought on as they were resting players. I'm not quite sure. But he did get an assist. So maybe Diogo Deloach will be starting this game. Bully, you're saying Bruno's on fire. Absolutely is on fire. Tyler, you think that Portugal are going to lose 2-1 tonight? What's everyone's predictions for the Portugal-Switzerland game? You let me know in the comments. Brian, the best players in world football are high risk, high reward. They're the people that you pay your money to go and see. They're the people that bring wins. No steady eddies. You can have a team of steady eddies and you can get 0-0s the whole way through. Or you can get a team which has your high risk, high reward players. And those are the players you really want in your team. And Bruno Fernandes is the definition of that. I've told you that he needs to mature himself a little bit to understand when those risks need to be taken and to understand sometimes that risk doesn't need to be taken. Sometimes it's better to just hold possession. And I'd still think he's learning that a little bit, but because he's a very emotional player, plays with his heart on his sleeve. You saw it. What game was it? Where they were like 2-0 up. He got 2 goals. I can't remember. Ghana? No, it wasn't Ghana. Anyway, it's towards the end of the group stage. And he hit the post. He was on a hat trick and he was fuming at himself. He was pounding the ground. That's the sort of player he is. Right, let's see what's going down here. For Bruno, you're going for a 3-1 win. 2-0 for Portugal. 2-0 says Unicorn. 2-1 says Gungshi. 2-1 Switzerland, says Brian. Or it feels like you're just going to say that for every single game so far. 3-2, 2-1, 4-1. Bye-bye, Portugal. The rise and fall of Ronaldo. You mentioned it there. I'm going to bring this up now. Look. Imagine my surprise. All I'm going to say. But imagine my surprise. Even the Portuguese coach, who really has said absolutely zip negatively about Ronaldo, ever. Even he's starting to lose his rag. Whoop. Imagine my surprise. But look, I'm looking forward to seeing this game tonight. Morocco and Spain, by the way. I reckon that'll be a very, very good game. There's no United involvement in that at all, is there? I don't think so. But I'm very much looking forward to what... Just the World Cup's been great. The World Cup has been great. It would have been 10 times better if it wasn't in Qatar and it was in the summer when a World Cup should be. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm still enjoying it. Mbappe and Dembele will bring out the Maguire we don't want to see. It depends on... I mean, Maguire shouldn't really get exposed by that because Mbappe and Dembele are down the wings. They should be protected by Luke Shaw, who's having a fantastic World Cup so far. Only Lionel Messi has given more progressive passes than Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's looking really good. And Kyle Walker's going to have the game of his life. The game of his life. Morocco might surprise us as Gungshi. I think so as well. I actually put that down as a draw. My backing in that was a draw. And then I think to Spain to win or to Spain to qualify. That's why I think so anyway. Charlie, a big up, man. The hoodies are class and they keep their shape. Yeah, man, I really am happy with the quality. That's a big part of why I'm so proud of the merchandise, having launched it all. They wash well, always wash it inside out. I mean, you did it with all your clothes anyway, right? They hold their shape and they fit good. Big up to everyone. Andreas, I did see that. One of the weirdest things you'll ever see. Maguire being used as an example of bad economy in the Ghanaian parliament. I tell you what, Ghana's economy right now is not in very good shape. How many likes we're on? We're on 364. We only need 130 more likes, and we can get the Cantona calendar box open. Look, he's naked. He wants to be opened. So make sure you drop a like on the video. We're only 130 away. And if anybody does want to follow us on TikTok, just use a QR code there. Just do that. You come straight through. And there'll be a video going out there later this afternoon. But look, let's have a quick focus now and a quick 5-10 minute chat about what's coming up in the next few days. Because Man United are in action. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to watching United against Cadiz. It's a mega opportunity, man. It's a mega opportunity for these players to get in the spotlight for Erik ten Hag. And it's a little bit like it was Iqbal and Savage who really impressed during the preseason tour when we didn't have all of our first team there and they were given the opportunities. This is an even bigger opportunity. And so much so, I found this quite fascinating. Fascinating is the wrong word. Interesting. Manchester United have actually taken our under-21s coach to Spain. I think his name's Mark Dempsey. Make sure I'm getting that right. Where is it? Yeah, Mark Dempsey. So Mark Dempsey has actually gone out to Spain with the players. And I think that's a really smart call. Really smart call because there's so many youngsters there that basically Ten Hag's saying, look, we'll bring the coach out there so you're a bit more comfortable with the environment. And I said this in my video yesterday that I did in previewing this week because I showed the training drill that the kids were doing. And it's the exact same training drill that the first team were doing during preseason. And that is something that has to happen. There has to be, at Ajax, when players came through the academy, they already knew how to play Ten Hag's style of football because they were coached in the same way in the academy. And that's something Ten Hag has to do and needs to do. And that's why bringing Mark Dempsey across is a really smart play by Ten Hag. Because now Mark will be learning things, learning training drills and learning styles from Ten Hag that he's going to take back into these under-21s, which then means that when they come through, they're going to be already semi-schooled in the Ten Hag way of football. And the road to sort of adapting to first team football wouldn't be as daunting anymore because of that. So in my opinion, I thought that's a very, it might be a little minor thing for a lot of people, but for me, it's a really smart call that hopefully makes that transition from academy football to first team football that little bit easier for the youngsters. But look, let's go through. There's been training galleries that have come out. They went there for a warm weather training camp, by the way. It doesn't look that warm. That's all I'm saying. That's a good point there from Race, and that's exactly what Pep did with Ten Hag when he was at Bayern. It's that alignment there is the best way I can describe that. That alignment between the youth and the first team. It's a huge gap. It's such a big gap. So you have to try and make that gap as small as possible. How can you do that? Right. Let's invite all the youngsters. Let's have a warm weather training camp. Let's invite the under-21s coach and give them a bit of an insight for a week as to what it's like to train with the first team. I really like that, man. It's good. In my opinion, it's good management. Who do you think will be the next youngsters to join the first team? We'll run through and we'll discuss a few of the youngsters here. But there's some good faces there. There really are. Let's just run through a picture gallery. Why not? There's Ten Hag there. There's, what is it? Tom Heaton. Oh, yeah. He hasn't even played that much. That is Anthony Elanga and Ted Mengi. I'd like to see Mengi getting some opportunities. He's a cracking centre-back. There's Donny van der Beek running his way out of Manchester United. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit unfair. David De Gea there, of course. There's Wan-Bissaka. I mean, I don't know about Wan-Bissaka. No doubt Wan-Bissaka will get some game time. There's Zidane Iqbal. Got short hair. That is Bjorn Hardley. Shoda Tire. Zidane. Let's go over here. I thought this was quite interesting. This is from Danny Webber, who's out there working with Manchester United's media team. And I just liked some of the comments he said. I thought it was quite nice bit of insight. He goes, there's good camaraderie here. We can see that, but there's a clear focus with everything that's being done. We've seen some of the sessions out here and the intensity has been good. Everyone's tuning into what Ten Hag wants, which is key. You will get the most out of these trips if that's how you go about your business. Everyone's tuned in. Some of the young lads that are here, you can see they obviously have a different motive, but I wouldn't want to single out any individuals for catching the eye. And when he went down here and he spoke about it a little bit more, he said this. He goes, it's been good. You can see it's not just the players here, it's the coaches and everybody here. That's what I said. People like Mark Dempsey, who is here with some of the under-21s to help the transition and make sure things are seamless. Really good idea, man. Really, really good. I stand by that. When you're a young lad coming into this environment, it's about learning quickly and making sure your standards are right off the pitch. And there are plenty of youngsters who will be doing that. And there are plenty of established players like Martial and Van der Beek, both with, I suppose, different points to prove. Martial doesn't need to prove that he's ready for the first team. He needs to prove that he's fit enough for the first team. It's just a fitness thing with Martial. And we need him fit. We need him fit. Because I don't know what we're going to do in January transfer window. I really, really don't. We need Martial fit and firing. How many likes are we on now? We're on 418. We only need 80 more. 80 more and we'll open that bad boy. Jeez. What other pictures have I got up here? There's Zidane and Anthony Elanga out in the nice and moist. In my opinion, this is somebody I'm personally looking forward to watching in the next two games. And I hope he gets some game time. I mean, he will get some game time. And that's Charlie McNeil and Alejandro Garnacho. Why? Of course, I'm excited about watching Alejandro Garnacho. But Charlie McNeil is somebody who there's been a lot of calls for Charlie to get some game time. With Ronaldo being so bang out of form and Man United and Anthony Martial being, injured, that Charlie McNeil should have been brought through. And I sort of understood why it didn't happen. I know the age-old thing of like, if you're good enough, you're old enough. I agree with that. But Charlie McNeil, I think physically he's got some way to develop. There's no doubt he's an absolute lethal goal scorer. We signed him from City, and he has been banging them in for the academy teams. This one here, this trip here, is, I hope, going to be the trip where we can see Charlie McNeil do the same sort of thing that Zidane, Iqbal, and Charlie Savage did during the summer preseason tour. I hope it's a time where he gets real game time in both matches, Cadiz and Real Betis, and maybe he can get a goal or two as well. But more than that, it's about what happens during training. It's more about what he shows Erik ten Hag, and I suppose what he does on the pitch as well. But in my opinion, I'm looking at Charlie McNeil was probably the next one that I would like to see breakthrough, or Cody Mainu. I personally think Cody Mainu's, you know how we've had Alejandro Garnacho this year as our breakthrough player? Next year, I would hope that was going to be Cody Mainu. He really is. If you have watched any of the youth team with him in action last year in the FA Youth Cup, and with, is it under 23s this year? I think he is. He's a couple of years ahead of everyone else around him, physically, mentally. He's a very, very good player. So if I'm going to highlight two individuals, I'd probably say those two. I'd also say keep an eye on Marc Jurado, because I think that's quite an interesting one. Alvaro Fernandez has gone out on loan, is absolutely as well. He was definitely having a very good loan spell with Preston towards the start. I don't know about recently, but Alvaro Fernandez having a very good loan spell. Marc Jurado is somebody who plays left back. He's kind of a fullback at Manchester United in the academy teams. I think he's going to be somebody. Keep an eye on him as well. So I would say Marc Jurado, I would say Cody Mainu, and I would say Charlie McNeil. They are probably the three players that I say let's keep an eye on those during these next two games against Cadiz and Real Betis, and let's see how they get on. Connor, I completely agree there. He absolutely does look like a proper player. Rafi, maybe we can do that as well. It's a good idea. He's not. He's just turned 17, right, isn't he? Cody Mainu. He just signed his first professional contract this year. Yeah, he turned 17 in April. He is a good-looking player. Robert, he's not really in the squad, is he? He's not. Has he made an appearance? I'm not really sure. Not really sure he's made an appearance. Ian is saying, I don't know any other fans like United fans who want their youth players to come through so much. It's part of the club, man. We've had an academy player in every single match day squad since what, 1940? Thereabouts. It's such an outrageous stat that it sounds made up every time you say it. But I think it's over 5,000 consecutive games where there has been an academy graduate inside our match day squad. And right now, we're watching Marcus Rashford shine at the World Cup. And we're watching Alejandro Garnacho come through. And some of them are players like Rashford, who have been in the academy since they've been a young boy and they've come the whole way through. And others like Alejandro Garnacho are good scouting players that we've signed at the ages of 16 or so. Okay, that's a good one. Hannibal Mejbri, I hope, is going to be another one. He was brought in, I believe, was it from Monaco he was brought in? Hannibal Mejbri. And then you've got Alejandro Garnacho, who came from Atletico Madrid. You've got Marc Jurado, who I think came from Real Madrid. I think they both came from Madrid. 1936. My bad. 1936. It is a ridiculous record. We need 44 more likes, and we'll crack that open just before the end of the stream. Freddie Adu. Now, there is one for the old Pez, the old Pez players. He was that wonder kid, wasn't he? If there was two signings you used to make back in Pro Evo back in the day, you're signing Obafemi Martins first, and you're probably going to be signing Freddie Adu. That's just the way it worked. Yeah, Anthony, it's a fair point there. Mentioned how important Ajax and the youth team is to Ajax. And that's why that synergy existed when Ten Hag came in. I always said it was like those FA Youth Cup players, they must have been so excited about the fact that Ten Hag was the manager coming in. Because the transition, the pathway to that first team was so much more clear and obvious because Ten Hag was your boss. Somebody who's got a history of promoting youth players, and not just for this. No offense to Louis van Gaal, but I've spoken about this before quite a few times. He gave a ton of play because he liked working with younger players who didn't really have developed ideas of football, because he could then implant his ideas on them. And that's why he liked working with younger players. But so many of them were from like Tyler Blackett, Donald Love, Paddy McNair. They were debuts galore, which led to absolutely sweet FA. Alex, forget the friendlies with England on set. Nah, we're doing a bit of both. Adriano, obviously, 99 shot power. Come on, man. Probably expose my age here again. Buddy, as I said, it's a bit odd. It's gone a bit quiet on the Glazers, which I'm kind of surprised about. But I don't know whether it's because of the World Cup, whether just conversations will be happening behind the scenes. Just because we're not hearing about it doesn't mean it's not happening. It will be happening. There's going to be a lot going on behind the scenes. And I hope that we get some really good news and some really big updates on it sooner rather than later. Scott Starmer, you're saying, loving these youngsters coming through proper good. So am I, man. There's nothing better. And I've spoken about this before so many times on United People's TV. There's nothing better than watching an academy player blossom and turn into a superstar at Manchester United. You can keep all your £100 million signings all you want. Nothing beats that, because the connection you have with that player is deeper before they've even kicked a ball. So if that connection exists at that point, imagine how connected you feel when they're in 3 years' time, they're on top of the world as a superstar. It just goes a little bit deeper. That's why I personally love watching youth players blossom into first team stars at Manchester United. Let me see what else is saying down here in the comments. Anybody, last couple of minutes of the show, fire in your questions in your comments. Make sure you drop a like on the video, because we're 23 likes away. We're just about going to hit it. It's a quiet stream this morning. I apologize to everybody on Facebook. I don't know why. I really have no idea why it didn't work. Ian, I completely agree. I think it's just a quiet before the storm. We're in the eye of the storm, if you want to call it that. It's all nice around us, and it's all going to kick off at some point. 36 years, says Ant. I'm yet to see a youth more talented. Oh, man. Ravel Morrison, a classic example of making sure that you're surrounded by the right people, that the advice that you're getting is the right advice. It's just as important as talent is. Ravel Morrison, unfortunately, was surrounded by the wrong people in a similar sort of fashion, in my opinion, to how Jesse Lingard was surrounded with the wrong people and how he was getting the wrong advice in his ears. And that's why there was just some strangeness to how Jesse Lingard left the club. It was a bit odd. Hey, look, we're at 485 likes. Sod it. Let's just open it anyway. I don't need to open it this time because I'm giving that away. Going to give away maybe that one there, or maybe a nice new one in a packaging for you. Probably a nice new one in the packaging. Simple entry mechanic for this one as well. I'm going to be releasing a video on YouTube Shorts that's going to go out in about an hour or so, and on TikTok as well. All you got to do is leave a comment on it, and I will choose a winner. If you want to follow us on TikTok, it's down there. If you want to follow us on YouTube Shorts, you're already a subscriber. You don't have to do anything else. And the winner for that one will be announced tomorrow. The winner for the Ronaldo one, I'm going to announce that one after Portugal aren't in the World Cup. So that's not happened just yet anyway. So we'll find out about that one. Sam, if we don't get Bellingham, who would you want signing midfield? Make sure you check out that YouTube Shorts video, because there's a question that I'm asking in that one that maybe you'll agree or disagree on. We had a conversation about it yesterday, but I'm doing it in a little short video. I'm going to wrap this one up for today. I'm going to go now and try and figure out what happened on Facebook. I apologize to everyone on Facebook that didn't work. It's quite literally the first time ever that's happened. I have no idea why it did. I'll try and figure it out. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. Make sure you drop a like on the video. My video going out at lunchtime today is the Cadiz 11. I'm going to try and guess it. I'm probably going to get it spectacularly wrong, but we can have a conversation about that in the comments. Take it easy, everyone. Have a cracking day. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in.